Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of the My Greek Island podcast. I'm George Tsounyas.
And I'm Maria Petrakou. Now this is another episode of what we got up to this summer. And in fact, an episode about an island that George visited without me. How could you even do that, hun?
Let's be fair, Maria, you do like 4 or 5 islands without me even being in Greece. So, you know, it had to be done. By the way, for all the listeners, are you on Instagram? If you are, why are you not following us at My Greek Island? So make sure you get there because that's where our tips and tricks are. That's where we post all our adventures, or Maria's adventures.
And yours sometimes.
Yeah, and mine.
So today, I actually am going to be interviewing George for a change. And he will be telling us all about the island of Agkistri. Are you ready, George?
Well, I was born ready, but I'm actually quite nervous because like the shoe's on the other foot, so I've had to do all the research, or we'll see the lack of research that has been done on my behalf. So Let's go.
So without further ado, let's get into today's episode. Hello, and welcome to another episode of the My Greek Island podcast, dedicated to take you, the wanderlust, on a journey through Greece.
There are 227 inhabited Greek islands. Which one will you visit next?
My Greek Island, with your hosts George and Maria. Καλημέρα, George.
Καλημέρα, Μαρία. Τι κάνεις?
Πολύ καλά. Εσύ?
Πάρα πολύ καλά.
Speaking of which, I think we need to prepare another Greek episode with basic Greek phrases.
Oh, yeah, that's on the radar. We've seen the DMs and we will react. We've heard and we've listened, and we will be doing some basic Greek episodes very soon.
So George is in charge of that, so he is busy designing what these episodes could be, and I'm very excited to actually
no pressure.
to actually see them. Yeah, no pressure. But on the messages that we received on Instagram about the first episode that came out in the previous season around basic Greek phrases, I think my favorite message was that someone got a high five for using the phrase aspropato when he had a shot in Corfu, which was brilliant. So shout out to you.
Yeah, if you're listening, shout out to you. We do read the DM, so thank you.
Yes. Anyway, so let's get into today's episode, George. And we're talking about Agkistri. So do you want to give a brief summary? Can you give us a brief summary of Agkistri?
I will do. I'm going to try and keep it brief. So Agkistri is located in the Saronic Gulf, and it's around an hour or two, depending if you take like the fast or the slow ferry from Athens. And it's a very good island for a quick escape. And for this island, you do not need a car. Drum roll. That is quite impressive for a Greek island. And it's actually one of the reasons I chose to go to it with my aunt. It was a really last minute decision. You can literally rock up, and you can also hire a semi-electric bike to get around. So in 3 words, Agkistri for me was very green, small, and also quite underrated, to say it's so near to Athens.
Okay, so that's cool. Just to touch on the fact that you said you don't need a car. 2 other islands that we should probably talk about at some point is Spetses and Hydra, where not only do you not need a car, you cannot take a car. So we should probably touch on those at some point as well.
We will do.
So, okay, you said it's very close and it's great for a quick getaway, but would you recommend Agkistri for a day trip, or do you think that someone should definitely stay there for a few days?
Yeah, so you could easily do a long day trip. So take the first ferry and leave with the last one because it's so small. But I would recommend staying 1 or 2 days or 2 nights. We actually decided to stay 3 nights But the purpose of our trip was literally to have a doorstep on the beach. It was relatively cheap. Actually, I would say even go as far as saying it was very cheap compared to other islands I've been to. And it's a stone's throw from Athens. It basically ticks all the boxes. And the ferry ticket that we got, it was the slightly longer ferry, because my aunt is really scared of the dolphin, the like small ferry. It's not even a ferry, it's like a small boat, but we took the ferry. It was about €17 one way, so it's actually very economical as well. So yeah, you can either do a long day trip, or I would prefer to stay 2 or 3 nights.
And you mentioned that you wanted to have the beach at your doorstep. Did you?
Mm-hmm.
So where did you stay, and did you actually tick that box?
We did. I mean, it was on the doorstep. I can't say we opened the door onto the beach. We were about 50 meters from the beach. We stayed in Scala, and that's where the big ferry goes to. There are actually 2 ports. So you've got Scala, where we stayed, and Mili, which is around maybe 2 kilometers. I should know because I ran that distance. You can walk it basically. And I believe the Flying Dolphin goes to Mili, the other one. And so, yeah, we stayed in Scala. It basically has everything on your doorstep. It's got the beach, it's got the restaurants, it's got cafes, great bakeries. And yeah, that is basically it.
Amazing. And tell me a few things that you got up to.
Okay, so as I've said, the island is small, but we were there for beach days, and beach days we got. Our first day we stayed in Scala, ate seafood in the tavernas on the seafront. It's simple Greek, unpretentious. Do not expect the Greek island beauty you see on Instagram. It is much more rough beauty, but it's actually what I loved about it, and the reason why I'll probably will be going maybe every year. I go to Greece for like a 2 or 3 day trip, because I just really liked it. It is what it is.
And a quick getaway, an easy and quick getaway, and it sounds like it's also not overpriced, because if you're saying that the trip is only €17, and excuse my husky voice today, I've been experiencing a lost voice for a few days, so it's quite difficult to talk. It also sounds though that it's easy and cheap to get to, but that the fact that it's unpretentious, that it's probably a destination where you can get the real experience, but simultaneously not overpay for it. Would you say that's correct?
Oh no, 100%, especially in the tavernas and the seafood restaurants on the seafront, definitely. But in terms of what we got up to, I said beach for days. There are the beach in Scala is okay, but the other beaches they have is Limenaria, Dragonera beach, and my top pick, which I should probably dedicate this episode to, is called Aponisos beach. And if you go to Agkistri, well, there's no way you're going to go and not visit this beach. Aponisos beach is literally amazing. It is underrated. You take the bus from either Scala or Mili. I recommend, this is a top tip, learning from Maria, I recommend that in high season, you take it from Scala, which is by the church, and you need to go early because there's just one bus. There's several, it has several times. I think it's every hour, every half hour, it's every hour. But it gets very busy, and sometimes the bus is full, and then you just can't get on the bus. And that's exactly the same for the way back. So you need to make sure you're standing in that line and take cash. To get to Aponisos beach is around 20 to 30 minute bus ride. And it's actually, I mean, it has some very tight maneuvering through the villages. Like the bus literally only just follows. So this beach, it is like a heaven on earth. Like I don't know. It was just such a surprise to me. And you go to this beach. It's like it's almost like an island off the mainland. You pay to go in. I love the beach. I love this Aponisos beach.
Is there restrictions on how many people can visit this beach? Because it sounds like it's quite a paradise. Or can as many people go that they want? Because you say, usually when they charge you to go to a beach, like they do at Lake Vouliagmeni, there's a restriction on how many people can enter.
I mean, there is only a certain number of sunbeds, but I mean, we went at the end of August. It wasn't full, but I don't know actually. I don't want to hype it out too much, but wow. I had no expectations. So maybe listening to this and you go there and you're like, oh, he really hyped it up. But it is a real gem of the Saronic Gulf. The waters are clear blue, and that's not a joke. I know that is in many of the beaches and seas in Greece, but to be so close to Athens, there's an amazing little fish tavern as you come out of the beach with fresh fish daily, exceptional service. The entry to the beach itself is €5, and what you get with that is the entry into the beach, and essentially you can sit in any deck chairs or sunbeds that you find. And what's really good is because the sunbeds are like peppered around this little peninsula bit. There's like a buzzer, and you press the buzzer and you get people come. It's like room service, but sunbed service. Yeah, and the prices are really, really good. Greek coffees, beer, wine. You can have food there.
Okay, so it sounds like in general there's reasonable prices. As you said before, it's not pretentious, but you mentioned that you ring the bell for your Prosecco or your wine or your
ring
coffee.
Ring for Prosecco.
Yeah. Ring here, press button here. So if you're ringing not for Prosecco, but you're ringing for coffee, you probably should download the My Greek Island Coffee Guide to know exactly what cold coffee you are ordering to accompany you on this amazing beach that George is describing to us. And I mean, you've definitely
I sold it?
You've sold it to me. I mean, I've actually never been to Agkistri, which is very bad of me because it's so close to Athens. Although I had many opportunities to go when I was studying at university, but it definitely sounds like somewhere I will be going.
Yeah,
but I mean, tell me more. Go ahead. Sorry.
To recommend, I would, make sure you have good sandals or flip flops, because it is a lot of parts of it are quite rocky. So like the sunbeds are on the rocks, but there's stairs into the sea. And one thing that I really, really liked, I think on the pictures it does look a bit tacky, but when you're there, it really isn't. It really adds something to this beach. So there's a fixture in the sea with like hammocks and floating objects, so you can just chill in the sea. And one of the pictures we'll put that accompanies this, you'll see what I mean. And there's there's a paddleboard that's like anchored to the floor, so it doesn't move, but you can like lay on there. The hammocks in the sea. There's this like circular cylinder thing that you could hold on to, and it just it gives an extra sort of je ne sais quoi to the beach, and I just really enjoyed it. And there's some I think there's like premium hammocks that you have to book. But I think the lady said like they were booked out the whole summer, although when I was there it was empty. But I think it was an extra €10 supplement, which was literally nothing. But definitely recommend. And I did meet people there. There were some Americans I met there that had actually come from Athens for the day. So they got the first ferry in the morning at like 6:37, got the bus, and then they were leaving with the like penultimate sort of the bus shuttle back to the port to go back to Athens. So they'd come just for that beach spend the whole day there. So it's a long day, but worth it.
And how long does the bus ride last?
Yeah, around 20 to 30 minutes.
Okay.
And it's around €2, €3. It's very easy, yeah.
Okay, cool. So anything more you want to add about the beach?
No.
Or have you covered the majority?
Also on the beach, on the actual mainland, there are like different animals. So there's like peacocks, there's like duck, geese.
Wow.
Yeah, it's just a very interesting. Yeah, it's this guy that bought it from Athens, and it was basically like derelict, and then they obviously had the idea, and they've done this, and it's amazing, and it's really well kept.
Wow, that's quite cool. So you know what I'm going to ask next? Something that I love to do. I love to eat. So
yes.
George, please tell me about the food.
The food. So I do like my food, but I'm not as much of a foodie as you are. I would describe the food scene, and this is in the nicest possible way, as basic. It's basic Greek cuisine done well and at a good price, especially the seafood. And in the seafood tavernas on the seafront in Scala, you can actually basically sit with your foot in the sea, and the prices are really, really reasonable. And there's also, I don't know why, I guess because people like to have desserts, me too. There are lots of dessert shops on the seafront, and some epic sort of pancakes and waffles that we had, and obviously ice cream. And there was also pistachio ice cream.
What about I imagine the pistachio ice cream is because it's close to Aegina, right? And Aegina has a huge production of pistachios.
Yes.
So when you said desserts, though, do you have like the traditional Greek desserts as well, or is it just like pancakes and waffles?
They had traditional stuff as well, but I was there for like the waffles because also I was training. I was running in the days, and I just wanted like waffle.
Okay, so because something that I should probably share is my favorite dessert in Greece is the Portokalópita, which is effectively an orange pie that is made with the filo pastry and a lot of oranges and syrups. So that's the favorite one. That's my favorite that I usually have in the summer. So I was just wondering if I would be able to find it there.
Oh, definitely. Oh, yeah, I saw that. Yeah. It's just that I didn't have it.
Yeah. And do you think that, as always, the Greek cuisine is very veggie friendly, but do you think vegans would be able to find things to eat in Agkistri as well?
I'd like to think so. Maybe vegans, someone listening to us who is vegan can go there and find out for us and let us know.
Well, I wouldn't want to send them without. I wouldn't want to send them without there being options.
I can't imagine that in any Greek taverna or restaurant you'll be able to find something vegan, but I don't think there's like vegan specific places.
Oh no, of course, yes. So if you want a vegan guide on which Greek dishes are veggie or can be vegan, or please check the vegan guide that I have published on the My Greek Island website. We'll also leave a link below this podcast so you can actually request specific dishes in the Greek cuisine which are vegan.
Yes.
So, okay. What are your top tips, George, for Agkistri?
So there's two. The first one is if you are going to spend the day there, or spend the day, just go for one day to Agkistri and go to Aponisos, or regardless, when you go to Aponisos, because if you go to Agkistri, you're going to go there, and you don't have a car, make sure you leave plenty of time to get the bus. Not just when you're going there, but more importantly, when you come back. Because if on the last bus, you are last in the queue and the bus fills up, it will leave with you stranded on the side, having to get a taxi. The bus does not come back. So we heard of people that had, like, they just were too late in the queue. They literally rocked up 5 minutes before the bus was due to go, and there was no room in the bus, and the bus was full, and that was it. It didn't come back, and they had to get a taxi. So
but can you get a taxi?
There are taxis. There's like 3 or 4 taxis. So they were having to wait for a taxi. So that's one tip. If you're feeling adventurous, you can hire some electric bikes, and you can hire them in Scala as you get off the ferry. And then you can hire them for the day, and it will help you. I mean, I think it's around, I would say it's a long bike ride, but with the electric bike, the hills are going to be quite easy to navigate. So, I would definitely try and hire a bike next time. So those are my two top tips.
So would you recommend visiting this beach with a bike instead of taking the bus?
I don't know. Depends how hot. If it's in the middle of the season, July, August, start of September, I'd probably want to take the bus because it is very hot.
Right.
But if out of season, could hire a bike, but I'd probably prefer to. I'm an active person, but bus.
Okay. So before we head into the Greek word for the episode, let's summarize Agkistri for our listeners. And I mean, I already want to go, but let's just give them a short and sweet summary of Agkistri so they can make the decision whether or not they would want to go to.
Perfect. So Agkistri is good for a quick escape from Athens, someone not looking to take a car, relatively cheap prices compared to other commercialized islands for pretty much the same thing. And then finally, and we will probably touch upon this in future episodes, it is good to combine not only with Athens, but other islands nearby, such as Aegina, Hydra, Spetses, and maybe Poros.
Mm-hmm.
So you can combine with other islands, and we will do an episode on other islands in the future. But yeah, that's what it's good for.
Amazing. So, George, what is going to be our Greek word or Greek phrase for this episode?
Well, I've hidden it from you, but do you have any ideas of what I could be thinking about?
Well, you spoke so much about this beach, so I'm pretty sure it's going to be beach related, knowing you.
It's going to be beach related, and it's going to be the phrase for where it's a question: shall we go to the beach? Which would be in Greek, Πάμε παραλία.
Πάμε παραλία. And you can, so if someone says to you, Πάμε παραλία, which effectively someone's asking you, shall we go to the beach? The fastest and easiest way to answer that if you want to go is Πάμε.
Pame, yeah, let's go. Pame. So Pame paralia, let's go to the beach, or Pame paralia, let's go to the beach, ? So intonation is very important, but there you go. Pame paralia is the Greek word for the day.
Amazing.
And make sure you all go and visit Agkistri.
All right, everyone. This is the end of today's episode. We hope you enjoyed this mini episode and George's experience of Agkistri. Stay tuned for our future episodes.
Did I make you proud?
100%, George. 100%. You are a true My Greek Islander.
Yes. Right, my Greek Islanders. This comes to the end of another episode of this podcast.
Now you know the drill. If you like this episode, share it to share the love with the My Greek Island community, where everyone is welcome. And
don't forget to follow, like, subscribe, and all that jazz. And maybe give us a little rating from wherever you're listening to us from, so you are notified every time a new episode drops. And if you have any suggestions or requests, get in touch.
And for those of you visiting Greece, don't forget to tag @MyGreekIsland on Instagram for a future feature. Until then, see you later, or as they say in Greek,
Ta leme.